Hey everybody. Um, there's some things I want to get off my chest today, but I want to start by saying, I just want to give a thank you to, just everybody online who I see who's still continuing to perpetuate authenticity. There's a few YouTube channels that I watch that I have a lot of, I don't know, respect, maybe is the word to use, or I just appreciate the fact that they exist greatly. And it's just interesting to see so many YouTube channels, so many different people speaking on so many of the same things. So when I do come across a YouTube channel or information that is, real and I think real good for myself and others, that's very valuable to me, extremely valuable. It's especially when there's so much right now trying to keep that information, that feeling, that love away and at bay. For those that can and do continue to help spread it, my hat really goes off to you guys, man. And I hope you guys continue because, at least for myself, entertainment is, I don't know, it feels like it's changed a lot. I mean, there's some new shows and stuff, but there really isn't much inspiring humanity in a very good way, at least that I've been um, observing. So like this, when I see YouTube channels that are inspiring people in a good way and also providing entertainment and education, it's just a very beautiful thing to see, especially for YouTube. Like most time, you don't have to pay anything, so they're doing it for free. Even though there is no free, everything that you do comes back to you. So if you're spreading good energy out there, that good energy will come back to you. Um, but anyway, though, just in case you guys haven't seen these YouTube channels, I wanted to just share them with you guys, and perhaps you can have a similar experience. One is Jim Brewer, the Brunerverse. He's the actor from Half Baked, uh, which was is still a classic stoner classic. He did that back with Dave Chappelle. Shit, man, it must have been over 20 years ago. But he's got a YouTube channel, man, and he's doing some really, 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 really awesome stuff. He only does a show like once a week, but the quality that he puts in his content for even once a week is just so profound. It's beautiful to see, and I really like people that blend like comedy with also like real love and care for humanity. When you see somebody that can, you know, integrate those two things together, that's a very strong, um, it's a very strong bond, which can do a lot of amazing things. So seeing him speak in that type of manner is very inspirational, and it's also funny, and it's also educational. So it's really good, man. I like things that have multiple uses. Um, I'm really impressed with how he handled the situation in Florida with the storm they've had. It's a really bad one, and it's been I think it feels like it's been at least a month, but there hasn't been much attention in the news, and it doesn't seem like too many people outside of those affected, immediately. I mean, a lot of people just don't even know about it, but instead of like, he's really like taken a large effort to help, kind of organize his community and get the word out there in every way that he can. Like he's using his celebrity status in a good way, which I think is extremely good, and I'd love to see more people do that because you celebrities, y'all don't, or maybe you do, I don't know, but from somebody who's been a movie buff his whole life, like, I mean, it's not good to look up to people like that. I mean, I don't know, you can have people inspire you, but I take it too far sometimes. And but anyway, it's nice to see a celebrity, and he's not the only one. There's others out there too, who are using their influential power in a good way for themselves and for the rest of humanity. That's really something, um, it's like, I don't know, it feels great, to be honest. It's like they're giving back to their fans. It's building up a relationship, and it's something new too. Like, and I think, and also for the celebrity sake, like I'm not them, but I'm guessing. I imagine, they might be curious as to what their fans, really feel like, and what it feels like to connect with their fans, the people that are essentially responsible or helped them get to their celebrity status. Wouldn't you want to look back and see what that engine looks like, that fueled your fire to get to where you are? And if there's a way that you can help them and help yourself and the rest of humanity at the same time and have some fun too, it just seems, again, it's that hitting multiple things together in one, like killing two birds with one stone. But it's more, that's a what is it, an analogy of destruction, when we're trying to think about creation here. But it's the same concept, just doing, getting multiple things done, by going in one direction. It helps out a bunch of different things. So yeah, Jim Brewer at the Bruner Universe is a YouTube channel that I really enjoy, and also find a lot of good inspiration and education there. Another one is Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. He I've known him, I think, almost as long as the 13th Sun. So he's been over 5 years. I've seen his videos on and off. But lately, these past few months, I've been watching more of his videos, man. And he is, very inspirational. He does have, at least for me, I pick up on his good feelings. I pick up on his good ass prana. When he says that stuff, I actually feel it, which tells me that it's authentic. That's really him. That's really his good energy. That's really what he's about. You know, so I love that. It's beautiful to see people that just choose to help inspire and uplift humanity. That's when there's so much trying to bring us down, it's great to see. And again, he's a large YouTube platform, so he has pretty much a celebrity status. And to see people with his type of influence doing what he's doing is, again, beautiful. So thank you, Ralph. And I appreciate all you've done, man. And one thing I gotta say about Ralph Smart, though, is I know he's been through hard times. He's talked about it. He's like, yeah, I haven't always been like this. I'd be curious to see, like, if he could go into detail, like, some of his harder, more challenging times in life and how he persevered through them, like, in those tough moments. Like, it's nice now we get to see the end result, and that's something to look forward to. But hearing about, like, the intimate details of in the moment, how he dealt with his struggles, because that can bring about a relatability. Like, 'cause it's like, oh shit, okay, like, he knows what it's like to maybe want to kill himself, or have really self-destructive thoughts, or to not have any motivation. I mean, when you hear successful people talking about how they've been in those hard spots and how they persevered through them, it helps bring hope to the masses. It helps bring hope. So hope is something that is, I think, vital if you're going to be winning a fight. If you don't have any hope, if you don't have any desire, if you don't have any, real care to do that which you need to do, you're probably not going to be victorious. So hope is really powerful, and Ralph Smart gives off a lot of hope. So thank you, Ralph. Thank you. And the 13th Son. I've talked about him numerous times, and I don't watch his channel. I probably should, because it's just there's always good stuff to learn from him, and what he has to share with everybody. But I mean, he was the one that helped get me into the whole spirituality. He's the one who helped give me something to live for, man. Like, I never, my parents, my friends, nobody in my life was able to influence me in such a way to where I felt okay about living. It wasn't until I watched the 13 Sons channel that I was like, okay, all right, there's a good reason for me to be here. There's some good work to do, and there's a reason why I feel so alone and miserable all the time. Like, it's been set up to keep us down like that. He really helped shed light on that whole thing. And then he brought it around in a beautiful way, an inspiring way, because he told you how powerful the human body is, and that there's all these things on the earth that can help you heal, and if you learn to navigate through this universe in a right, what he would call right way, a righteous way, then you're going to be all right. You may have some challenges, but if you continue on that righteous path and you stick the course, even if you die, you're going to go out smiling. I've always thought like there's a real importance and how you go out and how you die. Like dying in a miserable state is going to send you to a miserable state. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the way out. Killing yourself is not, does not solve the problems. In fact, I think it makes the problems even worse for yourself and your family too. So, to see somebody who comes along and is able to, share those type of truths and put everything together with the aliens, with religion, with spirituality, with energetics, with politics, the whole 9 yards, and then also inspire people to be their best selves and to be authentic and to be real and to do the right thing. That's beautiful, man. And, his information came to me at a time when I was at a crossroads, and I'm still not completely out of those crossroads, but I've at least got to experience enough to know that there is something more to life than what I thought there was, because I didn't, before I watched his channel, like, I was like, man, this is just, like, I'm done. Like, this is just, take me out of this, like, I really didn't have any hope. So he helped instill a lot of hope, too. And he also doesn't, like, 13 love, like, that's a different type of love than just saying love. That's why it can be good to be specific with your love, because 13 love is all about being real and also knowing when the right time is to be tough and kind. Like, there's a time and place for everything. And 13 love from the 13th son is he's going to tell you what you need to hear in order to grow. That's his main MO. Not to be a people pleaser, not to just make you feel better, not to just gain your favoritism because he says things that make you feel good. No, it's to really help you grow. And he can be rather harsh and blunt about it too, but sometimes it's what we need. I got blocked from his channel or from his Twitter page because I called him my hero. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's one of his big, the things he speaks on is not having idols, is not looking up to people like that, not putting other people on a pedestal above you. Even I have to say, he even talks about this with Jesus. And I do think in tradition Christianity, the way people worship Jesus, I mean, like, they worship Jesus more than God in some senses, which is, and again, this is just a programming. I think that the devil, the enemy, the opposition has wanted people to look outside of themselves, to look at something away from them, to worship something that has a lot of power instead of learning to worship their own body and build up their own power. And I don't even think that's what Jesus would want. I think Jesus would want us all to do as much as we can, and for us all to grow as much as we can in our own individual God-given gifts. Not to just conform and all try to just worship him and everybody lose sense of who they really are. That's kind of what's happening. It's one of the reasons why when I go to churches and I'm around, like, traditional Christians, I pick up on a very bland feeling. And I think that's largely in design. I think the enemy has designed, it's taken the word of God, it's taken the word of Jesus, and it's turned it in to this black and white, bleached out, almost non-feeling or non-emotionally charged. I mean, there's some churches that are charged up, but it's like they hide away from, there's just so much they push away. There's so much they don't embrace. There's so much that they think is demonized when it's actually really good. And because of that, it develops a type of perception that's very closed in, and it feels almost the opposite of love, especially when Jesus is all about unconditional love for everybody. And then you go to these organizations and you feel like there's more conditions than ever. So it could be extremely hypocritical at times. And like I said, I don't think that's what Jesus would want, but that's just my opinion. So anyway, in the 13th son, he did a good job of explaining, like, hey, there's Yahushua, yeah, he did his thing, man, for real, but he wasn't the only one. There's been a lot of prophets, there's been a lot of messengers, there's been a lot of people throughout this time, not just people, animals too, all sorts of different things, helping us, giving us signs, giving us warnings, trying to help teach us and help steer us the right way. Just like there's a lot trying to steer us what you could call the wrong way, or the opposing way, or the negative way, the heavier way. Um, so anyway, yeah, just the 13th Sun is another great YouTube channel to check out. Um, and then Gabriel Cruz, he's somebody I've talked about, a few times, and he was just he just spent like 6 months working as a seafood processor. So like he was out of the game for a little bit as far as making videos, but he started making more videos the past couple of weeks, and I still think the information that he shares with humanity is I mean, if people really, I mean, he's literally found a way to essentially prove that love exists, that it is what can change your reality. And once you appreciate that knowledge, you realize that's our power, that's our weapon, that's what we all should be focusing on, especially collectively together. There is a way that we can all harness our energies in a particular manner that can literally push this negative residual energy. It's not even residual, it's here, it's perpetuating away from us, like to where we won't have to deal with it. We're still gonna have our own issues, like humanity's still gonna have to worry about its own shit, and we're still gonna have to deal with evil spirits and temptation and all that. But I'm talking about like the sick pedos that are running the world, and these greedy humans or whatever they are that are selling their souls and exploiting everything they can to make a money. That type of energy can be pushed away. I'm not even talking about killing it or eradication or any of these things. I'm just saying to push it away, to give us a chance to breathe, to give us a chance to be humans, to give us a chance to figure shit out without having snakes constantly trying to fucking tempt us and poison us. That's what we can do. But it takes humanity coming together. It's very important that it's that's imperative. There's no other way it's going to get done until 10% of humanity comes together. So a little under 1 billion humans need to literally come together in some type of a collective way where we're thinking and feeling similar thoughts, and we have a similar goal, and we live a similar pattern and way. And then with that energy, you just sit there and you focus. It may take a month, it may take a day, it may take a year, I don't know, but we just continue to work our routines and our rituals and to love each other and everything, expanding our energy, growing our energy, generating more of that energy, and the opposition won't be able to be around us. This is why I'm saying that'll be our force field, it'll be our weapon, it'll be our protection, it'll be our everything, it'll be our sustenance. Because they can't feed off of you when you're all love. It's only when the human being lowers its vibration to a low enough point to where the demon can get in and feed that they can feed. If your energy is at full max, if your energy is at the full potential of a human being, they can't come around you. They're scared of you. You hurt them. Just you being in their just them being in your vicinity or vice versa will hurt them. So, it really is. It's the next step in human evolution, in my opinion. Like the truth, the information has been out there for some time. We've had the past 2 years to realize how serious and real this threat is against humanity and what we're up against. And things are only gonna continue to deteriorate until we learn the next lesson, which is learning how to work together and be a good team and to get shit done and take care of problems that really need taken care of, like starving children, like mental illness, like health. Like these are things that we have the tools to fix. But we first have to regroup, reorganize, and learn to live and work together. And that's going to myself too, because I clearly have a lot I need to work on. So, I'm going to continue speaking more about this because that's really all I have. Like that's the one card that I really have to play that's different than everybody else. Just my ability to help bridge the gap of human perceptions. That's just something I was given. So I'm going to try to continue to speak my words and, because a lot of me is very skeptical about doing this because, like, dude, you're a fucking drug addict. Like, who wants to listen to you? Like, you're nothing, There's a part of me that feels that. But then there's another part of me that looks at the world today and everything that's been spoken on, and I'm just seeing so little of that which I'm speaking on. And it just makes so much sense in so many different reasons. It's just like, dude, I'm okay. I'll do it. There's nobody else doing it. It'd be different if I saw somebody else doing this, but I don't see anybody else doing this. And I don't even see anybody else on the way to doing this, really. Although I gotta say, Russell Brand my hat goes off to Russell Brand because he's talked a little bit about the tribe thing. He has talked about how we need to come together in tribes and work together and figure out our own problems and stop relying on big government so much. And he's just been there, practically, I mean, every day, making videos. I know he's kind of moved over to Rumble, but he's been consistent about speaking the truth for years now. So he's also another good example of how you can, I mean, because he dealt with the whole drug addiction thing too for a minute. And now he's come out and he's a very successful, looks like to be a very happy human being. So he's a good example of transformation and perseverance and how people can, go from being just, nothing but self-destruction pretty much to something that's beautiful and able to perpetuate love and life and, all these things. So, my hat does go off to Russell Brand too, man. It really does. And again, just another great example of how powerful celebrities can be if when they use their influence. I mean, they can use it in a bad way or a good way, and just Russell's another example of somebody using their influence in a good way. So thank you, Russell. I appreciate what you're doing, man. And so yeah, people, if you just another thing to remember about all this stuff, like I know there's a lot of, and myself too, there's a lot of apprehensions about being around a lot of other people, and like there's a lot of problems and drama, and yes, there is. This is also why I think it's imperative that we all come up with a collectively agreed upon way of doing things so that we minimize the drama. We have something we all look up to and adhere to for right reasons, for good reasons, for the overall harmony of everything. Otherwise, like my little bit of experience on YouTube and getting comments from people, like people will get nasty quick. Like people are hurt right now. So hurt people hurt people. So we got to realize when doing this, we're dealing with a bunch of human beings that, for the most part, are pretty miserable and unhappy with their lives. And that a lot of the times people blame and they point fingers, and especially here in America, it's largely the way we grow up, is everybody fighting against each other, So again, this is why I think it's important that we come up with just a guidelines to help us all, keep us from fighting and killing each other, pretty much. That's also going to keep our energy at a higher level. See, because the more you fight with yourself or with others, the more you lower your energy and the more demons are able to come in. So, I mean, it really is. This is why, like Christianity, the word of Yahushua, if you really apply it to like a society type way, it really is the thing that could really push all of this negativity away. And I do think Jesus Christ, that character, that human being, that creature, was designed specifically to be the demon slayer. Anytime I've had issues with demonic energy or spirituality that's come to me in a negative way, when I call on the name of Jesus Christ, it may not happen immediately, but within a couple of hours, if I'm really convicted in my heart, I'll feel peace come into my area. I'll see peace come into people around me. So I've experienced this myself, and I've also heard many other people talk about how, yeah, you call on the name of Jesus, man. He's the one that slays these demons. He's the chain breaker. But it's gotta be real. You gotta really believe it too. If you don't believe it, he's not gonna come and help you because you don't even believe in him. It's not the type of thing you can just. That's why it's important to build up your faith, through action and through commitment and through just, day to day to sticking to it, so that when something does happen, when you call out, your prayers are going to be, okay, this dude ain't just calling because he's in a bad situation and now he feels like change. And no, he's been there, when things haven't been fun. He's been there when things, haven't gone his way, and he's been bored, and he's still continued to stay on the track without blaspheming and without, cursing God, without going against, being a Christian. Maybe not completely perfect, but, it's all about the moments in your time and the opportunities you have. Like, there's a lot of opportunities in my life where I could have reacted to things in a much more demonic manner. But that would be me going against what I believe in, and so it's going to take away my belief in Jesus because my actions are showing me that I'm not really believing in him. This is also what happened with the Kava Kava. Instead of trying to just use my own strength and my own spirituality, my own connection to God to get me through the addiction, I chose to supplement it with an herb, and just like that became my God. And so, when the herb ran out, I was left with a huge void, a huge hole in my heart and in my soul that I created by not following through with my faith, by not believing in that which I speak. So that's another thing to be careful. If you're speaking about being a Christian and people think you're a Christian and that's your whole thing, and if you really aren't, like you're just something you're putting on as a show, you're going to find yourself, in my opinion, in a world that you never want to be in, man. It's going to be painful, it's going to be miserable, and you're going to have to do a lot of, it's really repentance. It's making up for your wrongs. It's learning how to get back on that right track, but you're not going to have the same, that's where you have to learn how to do things without actually having the desire to do things. It's difficult, having to take care of yourself when you feel like killing yourself. It's a fucked up feeling, man. But we done put ourselves in there by not being real, by not being authentic, by lying, and then if you've been doing that and you've also been exploiting people to get money and resources and things from them, man, you got a whole nother world of demons coming at you. So, just be true to what you speak on. I realize evil has to exist in this world, as does good. So, just be you. Like, that's the thing with my brother. It bothers me because he'll say he loves me all the time, but then he'll also, like, look at me like he wants to kill me. So it's like, dude, just make it up. What, like, do you love me or do you hate me? Like, just pick one and stick to that one and stop playing both sides. It's going to get you fucked up. Like, there's going to be a division point where you're going to have to choose. Do you want to perpetuate love or do you want to perpetuate more misery? That's really what it's boiling down to. Everything we're seeing as far as the upper government here in America, they're all about perpetuating misery. It's demonic activity. Okay? So, like, and their whole thing right now is to get people fighting against each other because, again, that lowers their energy. It also distracts them. So it's a little game, and the puppet masters are pulling their strings any way that they can, and a lot of people are jumping. But that's why it's imperative for those of us who know more to speak more, but also do more. Like, again, with like going back to, Infinite Waters, one thing I wanted to add, I would love to see him try to bring people together. I mean, he's got quite a loyal following. He's got a huge following. He talks about how celebrities contact him. That seems to be the next phase in human history, is us learning to live and work together. So, and there's a lot of people in need that could benefit from that type of an opportunity. If you do it the right way, I do think it's possible to have a system to where people can just come. Like, as long as they're able to get there, then you have the proper system in place so that they can start work, they can get the health that they need, the help that they need, and they can give back to the community. So they're not just taking, they're also giving back. It's going to take some mental work, this and that, but I think it's possible. So I would love to see people like that, and Russell too. Like, he's talked a little bit about the tribe thing, but, it's if you all feeling in your heart that you really need to do, then just do it. Or you just start speaking about it. That's where it starts, is just to start to speaking about it and build up the conversation, get the momentum going, and see if people really care about it. Because maybe they don't. Maybe people are, I don't know. I feel like that's what humanity wants, but I can't really speak for all of humanity. I can only speak for me as a human. So, it's good to just see if that's really what people want, is to come together, is to get away from all this bullshit. And also, how much of an effect a celebrities like them would have, because when people like that are influential and they're speaking about it in a good way, it can be extremely moving, to see a movie star that you've looked up to or watched and with joy for years of your life, and all of a sudden now he's like, hey, come work on this farm with me and grow food to help out kids and humanity in all these beautiful ways. That seems like I don't know, man. It seems like a very alluring opportunity for myself, and I'm hoping that others will feel the same way too. So, yeah. All right, I think that's all for now, you guys. Y'all take care.